Hi, I'm Bill Lindeman, and welcome back to the Design Lab. Today we're going to do a wall hanging with ribbon and some of our blueberry picks that we carry, and it's a contemporary style wall hanging or crescent-shaped wreath. We're going to start out with a piece of PVC pipe that you can probably buy in any local hardware store. This one's approximately 20 inches long. What I want to do is cover it with ribbon first, so I've cut my ribbon to size, and I'm going to fold it down and glue the ends down so that we get a nice clean edge. I tried it a little bit before and it looked like it would take two pieces, so we're going to do two sides. So there we have our two pieces of ribbon. And then we're going to take and adhere it to the pipe with a strip of glue all the way down. You want to make sure that you get enough on there, but you do not want to burn yourself. Just lay it on there and roll it around to get the other side. This just gives you a nice finished bottom. You don't see all that white PVC pipe. All right, we're ready to go with part one. Now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take, I have measured out approximately 3 yards of ribbon, and I made a wire that I can pull through the pipe, two 18-inch long wires just to help me pull it through, like threading a needle. This will become our hanger. Tie a nice knot in it so it doesn't come out. Depending on the size, I think this is a 1-inch PVC pipe. It depends on how large your pipe is, how large a knot it will be able to handle. And now we're going to pull that knot all the way into, but not all the way through, and you have a hanger. Now, the next thing I want to do, I have already pre-cut my ribbon into 2-yard lengths. I have 6 lengths of this khaki, gold, and silver, and going to do slip knots over the pipe, and it's not going to really matter which side the knot comes on because you're going to end up covering it anyway, but that you do want it to look finished. This ribbon's a little stiffer, so you have to tug it a little more. And what I'm going to do is evenly space these over the pipe. But you can see where we're just going to sort of space them out. All right, we have that part finished. Then we're going to go in with our next pieces, and let's see. I think we want to feature the plaid next, and you're going to do the same thing with the checked ribbon. Now we're going to go with a crinkle. And you're just going to sort of balance it out across the PVC pipe so that you get a nice mix of ribbon through the whole piece. And we've evenly dispensed with that across the whole piece. If the ribbon starts to come off, this might be a little place where we might need to put a little bit of glue right here so the ribbon doesn't slide off. In fact, I'll do that on both sides so you know they won't slide off. So that is the first phase of our wall hanging. And you can see you're getting a nice ribbon wall, basically, to give a nice fringe at the bottom of your wall piece. So let's put this one aside and start with the next piece. I've pre-cut some rhodesidia, which is basically gathering from the side of the road some twigs. This is going into our piece as well. But I just bound them up with a little bit of bark covered wire or our natural covered wire that we're going to be selling, and tied that off. I started to make one piece. I've already assembled this, but I'm going to show you how to do the next piece. There are 6 picks that come in our box of blueberry picks. They're about this long. What you want to do is open them up and give them a little fluffing. Take off all the labels and wrapping, because they come in pretty flat. So give some life, breathe some life into them. This will also help you to balance the product that you're working with. Now what we're going to do with this one is just lay it on top of there. So these 2 cones are closer together. Take a little piece of the wire and just go through right here to secure them. Always bind twice so it's actually really well secured. Twist it well. I like this bark covered wire because you don't need to cover up your mechanics. It becomes a natural element in the piece. Twist. You don't have to cut your tails off. They can come out and there'll be little vines right there. So that's 2 pieces. Oops, and we're going to do our 3rd piece. And if it's too long, you can always cut it off. So with this, we can go right back through, fluffing this out so that all your berries are coming through. So now we have 2 swags. And we're going to put these 2 together. And we'll give this a little bend up this way. These 2 will come together. And we will bind these again. It's a lot of binding, but that's going to secure it for anything else that we do. Right through the center. So you now see we have a nice crescent shape. And give it a little bit more of a bend. This could also be done with just ribbon this way, or you could use it upside down over a door. And what we want to do is also attach our twigs to the back. This gives it a little more natural feel. This is something that you might be able to use for every day if you don't use lights in it. It could be a transseasonal piece from Thanksgiving all the way through Christmas, or January even. It's not really Christmas colors. It's just a natural look. And we're going back through again. Tie it as tightly as you possibly can. If you knock a leaf off, it won't matter. And these extra tendrils that I'm leaving on here can be just wound up, and they'll look a little bit more like a vine and become part of the design. Cut my lengths of natural material covered wire. So I have 3 pieces here that I'm going to go through our ribbon wall right here in some strategic places. Now, this will be how we are going to attach our swag. And you want it to be off center, sort of a little askew, asymmetrical. And now we can take our end piece right here, secure it again by twisting that wire on there. And like I said, the wire becomes mechanics. It's mechanics as well as a decorative accessory, because we're giving it a little bit of a vine look by twisting it all up. Find the center. We're going to run this one through. And I don't want to catch my berries because I want those to be loose and free, more natural. So just thread it through the branches and the other pieces and find that spine of the pick. At least give it 2, maybe 3 twists so you know that it's very secure. And we have one more. Pull it tight and twist. That's good. You work those down in or to the back. And you are good to go there. Give this more of a bend upwards and attach it to the, let's test it first. To see if we need to attach it to the ribbon. Yeah, we need to attach a little bit to the ribbon. Right up here. So we'll take another piece of, can be a short piece of wire, and attach it over here to the ribbon. Same way. That will hold it, help hold it upright when you're hanging it. Yes, that should hold it level. And if it's not exactly level, you can always bend your product back to compensate for that hangover. What I want to do first is take the jute and tie off on one side here. Let's do this first. Give it a little knot. And clean it up. Just tie it one tie will be good. Give it some air to fly through the piece. You can take a piece of the pine cone or the wire that the pine cone is attached to the swag with. Twist it around that, come up to the top here, as if it's flowing in the wind and it got caught in the branches. And just twist it in there. Let your products do the work for you. And we can go back in with our green and do the same thing. Maybe this side will start up here. And tie it in. Then come down to this pine cone with a little bit of air. There's no rhyme or reason. You just want it to look like it's naturally flowing through the swag piece here. Give it a good little dovetail. And then what I want to do for the center is just tie a simple bow. Make a loop. I'm sure everybody makes a bow a little bit differently. And let me get an extra piece of ribbon. So that's 2.5 yards now. And we can just take our tendril that we twisted up so well, find the center of the bow, and go through there. Fluff it out. And if you want to add just a little bit more, we can add like another yard or thereabouts. We want to just put some of this ribbon down through the garland as well. Let's see, find a good little area to tie it off on. And this is all in interpretation. You can work it however you'd like to. At least you know the main steps of how to work it. But I like that the ribbon is all the way through the design. I like ribbon. It gives a nice finishing touch. It also unifies everything by running through the whole piece. Gives a reason for the fringe and the hanger. If you're afraid that it's going to move, you can always add a little bit of glue down in there where the knot is. And it shouldn't move out. And this is almost finished. Next, we're going to finish this off with a few feathers. There's 24 to a pack. I'm probably only going to use half the pack. What we're going to do is take the straight feather. I want to accentuate the curve of the swag, so I'm going to run it down any rounded type object. You can use your florist knife, or I have that particular pen that I like to use, but you can use a knife too, unopened, and give it a little bit of a curve. Let me pull this a little closer. I'm going to put a little bit of glue on here. And we're just going to add it into wherever there's a binding that we can glue into, or any other type of piece. And what you want to do is have some of the curves going one way and some of the curves going the opposite way. So this one has already did this one. So we're going to add it down in here on this side. And work your way back in towards the center of the design. Right up in here. So another one. And we can put one coming straight out of the ribbon. So actually you have 7 up in the top. And lastly, we're going to take the rest of your feathers and we're just going to add them in to your streamers. Just tie a knot around them. Lost my scissor. And just work them through the design on the other side even. Some closer to the swag and some hanging relatively low. And on the jute, I like to tie a knot in the bottom because unless you're rolling it, it looks pretty rough. And we have one more. We'll go down low. And each piece can be an individual expression. It doesn't have to be exactly the way I'm doing it. Just this gives you an idea, something to work towards. And you can improvise, use different ribbon, whatever you'd like to do. But we will give you a good supply list. And this is finished. This would be great over a mantle, or if you had a large front door, or any type of wall piece. If you enjoyed this tutorial and you'd like to see more, please subscribe to our YouTube channel and visit us at burtonandburton.com. And thank you again.